Welcome to the Barrett Tech channel. Today is March 27th and the Huawei P40 Pro has just been released. The online event was in Paris yesterday and we've actually been lucky enough to come and have a look at it in store. So we've got our hands on it, so we're going to test it out and show you some of the features. Obviously it's a little bit limited because we are in store, so we'll show you what we can and we'll do some over narration and tell you about the phone. So let's have a look. So yeah, we were lucky enough to be able to have a look at these in store on day one of release. This is the P40 next to the P40 Pro. The P40 is on the right hand side, which is considerably smaller. Personally, I prefer a little bit of a bigger phone, and I'd say the P40 Pro seems like a normal size for a smartphone these days. To me, the P40 is just way too small. But I think for females or anybody with smaller hands, I think the P40 might be a nice choice to go for. You'll notice that the P40 has a glossy back, whereas the P40 Pro has a matte finish, which I think just looks much more premium. And also the regular P40 does not have the overflow screen. It only has slightly curved edges at the sides, but not at the top and bottom. Swiftly onto the P40 Pro. The P series is Huawei's flagship series, so there's a lot to look forward to on this phone. Moving onto the back of the phone here, as I was talking about before, look at that sleek finish. The color is brilliant. I really love the matte finish on this phone. Here's a zoom on the camera setup. They've gone for a 5 camera setup, and the camera we'll test later, and it's very impressive. On the side, I mean, they're nothing exciting. They're very clicky, as you would expect. They've got a kind of red reflection on the power button, which looks quite nice. Also, the P40 is the first all overflowing screen. All 4 sides are curved at the edges, and I think it sounds better than it is, to be honest. I'm not a massive fan. I don't think it really makes it look that much better because it has these kind of raised metal edges, and it's kind of a bit of a marketing ploy in my personal opinion. Although it looks quite cool, you know, I don't think it really adds that much to the phone. You can see a picture of the colors that it does come in. They have got a wide range of colors, which is very nice. My personal favorite is the one I'm holding. That blue just looks, you know, really sleek. I like it a lot. And the cutout is extremely large, but I don't really mind that personally. A lot of people have a problem with that, but it doesn't really faze me at all. I'm not a phone gamer, and it doesn't really get in the way of videos if you turn it the right way. So on screen, if you want to take a further look into the different versions you can have, you know, you can get up to 8 GB of RAM with 512 GB of storage. It's running the Kirin 990 chipset, and it is all versions are compatible with 5G. I want to say I do apologize for some of this video being out of focus. We didn't actually realize it was on manual focus at the time. A lesson learned, but yeah, that's quite frustrating for this one. But anyway, we are just trying to connect up the internet now to be able to access Huawei's bespoke app store. It's the first time they're going to be using it on the P40. It's, you know, as expected, it's got a bunch of apps on there. You can also access a lot of the apps that we're used to in the West, you know, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. You can use these things. And yeah, I just had a little browse around it. It's got all the sort of features you would expect. The ability to hide the cutout or keep it, I definitely recommend keeping it, because without it, it has a massive gap at the top of the screen, which doesn't look good. You can also change your hertz refresh rate down from 90, which is the default, down to 60 if you want to save some battery. But 90 feels really nice. You know, it's not as high as some of the flagships giving you 120, but 90 feels pretty good. Here now we're moving on to the cameras, which is obviously a big selling point on the P series. Massive selfie portrait mode. Here we take a snapshot and it clearly blurs out the Osmo in the front and keeps us in the background. And you know, the zoom quality is very good still. You know, I thought this was quite a funny picture, but yeah, impressive. Then we move on to just the regular photo, not using the depth sensor, and obviously, you know, it's got all the background in focus, which also looks very crisp and clear. Then we are going to move on to taking a couple of nature shots, showing you the quality of those. Also, you know, the colors are coming out very vibrant, not too saturated, although quite saturated, but it looks very sort of natural, very nice. We're then testing out the optical zoom. We are actually using the Pro, which has up to a 5 times optical zoom and up to a 10 times hybrid zoom. So you can see it when you get to 10, it switches between the lenses and doesn't look so good after that. So you want to be keeping it under 10. But the Pro Plus has up to 10 times optical zoom. Being recorded on the phone itself, the front camera in 4K resolution, and I'm shaking the phone quite violently here, and it's pretty stable. I was very impressed with the colors, the quality, and the stabilization on the front camera in 4K. It's surprising, I'm now recording in 1080p and I can't really see that much difference, but as you can see, the phone's shaking around a bit here and I'm not quite sure what was going on. You know, the stabilization seems very strange. I'm not sure if that was just a technical glitch, but it wasn't happening on the phone, but only on the playback recording. Now we're recording on the back camera in 4K resolution. On the P30, they really sort of focused on the photography aspect and they kind of lacked the capability so much in the video aspect. However, they've massively improved it with 4K at 60 frames per second, as well as the front camera is 4K 60 frames per second. But the colors look really nice. I think overall that footage is fantastic. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the hands-on with the P40. It is a photography camera really. It's very expensive, but if you are looking to get a really good camera phone, then you might want to invest the money in the P40. Hopefully you did enjoy. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Like, comment, subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one.